Primeville East was packed with excitement. The basketball team was about to introduce their brand new mascot, a tiger named Loco. But there was a twist. They needed someone to wear the costume. And that's where Vaughn saw his chance. Vaughn had recently transferred from a different school. He didn't know many kids yet, and he figured this mascot gig could be his big shot to make a name for himself. How hard could it be? He thought. All you do is dance around and make people laugh. He found Coach Nathan in the gym and volunteered without a second thought. Coach Nathan looked at him, a little surprised. "You got next, new kid," he said. Vaughn grinned, already imagining himself as the center of attention. The first day as Loco felt great. The crowd cheered as Vaughn danced on the court, roared dramatically, and got everyone hyped. Kids high-fived him, took selfies, and called him a legend. Vaughn felt amazing. This was exactly what he needed. But by the second day, things started to change. That suit was hot, like really hot. Sweat poured down his face, and the smell was becoming dank and musty. Vaughn could hardly breathe in the costume, and the more he moved, the worse it got. On the third day, Vaughn was already regretting his decision. Every time he stepped into that suit, it felt heavier. He could feel his energy draining faster than his phone battery. The cheering crowds, they only fueled the pressure. They expected him to be hilarious. They expected him to make crazy moves and jump around like a fool. And he was doing his best, but it was getting harder to keep up the act. One day, after a particularly long game, Vaughn ripped off the mascot head, gasping for air. Rocky and Jose, who had been hanging out by the bleachers, laughed at him. "Dude, you look like you're about to pass out," they joked. Later, Vaughn sat alone, leaning against the bleachers. He watched the crowd leaving, and for the first time, he felt exhausted. Not just physically, but mentally. Was this really what he wanted? Sure, he'd made friends, but he'd also stretched himself too thin trying to be someone he wasn't. That's when Coach Nathan walked by and noticed Vaughn slumped over. "How you holding up, Loco?" he asked with a grin. Vaughn gave a tired smile. "It's a lot harder than I thought." Coach sat next to him. "Yeah, it's tough, but you know what? You don't have to be on all the time. People like you for who you are, not just the tiger suit." Vaughn looked up at him, confused. Coach shrugged. "Don't lose yourself trying to be what everyone else wants. You've got enough going for you as you are. You don't have to entertain them every second." It hit Vaughn like a ton of bricks. He had been so focused on impressing everyone, but in the process, he was losing himself. So he decided to take it easy. Instead of dancing like a maniac, he chose to just have fun with it. He still made the crowd laugh, but he didn't push himself to exhaustion. Vaughn learned a very valuable lesson that day. He'd learned that you don't have to go overboard to impress people. Sometimes just being real is more than enough.